Hello everybody, it is me, Faith, or Faith, whichever you prefer to call me, and this is my mess of a room, and today we're doing a story time, something we've never done before on my channel. So, yeah, this was a impulsive video because I didn't feel like recording my true crime video. I'm gonna do it soon, but I need to edit the script more. So anyway, this actually started because I was ranting on Snapchat about it, and then it was like, oh, this story is too long for me to rant about it on Snapchat, so I'll do it on my YouTube channel. So anyways, the story starts with me being bullied in 7th grade, of course. So in 7th grade, I was pretty much severely bullied by this one girl. Now, I'm not going to mention her name because since then, I think she's changed. I'm going to give her the courtesy of assuming she's changed because I talked to her like 3 years ago and she seemed fine. I'm not going to assume her mom's changed because her mom plays a big part in this story. So anyways, I'll skip over the actual bullying part and get into the why the administration part was so fucked up. So anyway, there was an instance where violence had happened because I had finally had enough. So the story goes, this chick and I are in science and she's putting glitter on her project. I basically say, don't get glitter on me because my leather jacket was expensive and getting glitter out is a fucking bitch. Even if it's something that is, you know, smooth like leather, it's not gonna get off. So I was pretty much just saying, don't put glitter on me. And she responds with, I won't put glitter on you if you take a handful of it and pour it on this guy's head, because I'm too nice to do it to him. I said, fuck off, no. So she got glitter on me on purpose when I wasn't like looking. Apparently like she had blown it on me and I didn't feel it. That's when my friend tells me there's glitter on my face and I just fucking lose it. Now it sounds silly, but this was over the course of about 3 months of this kind of shit where at one point she threw rocks at my legs telling me to dance, monkey dance. So I was finally just enough is enough because I had gone to the school multiple times, so I was fucking done. So finally I come up to this chick and I say, did you get fucking glitter on me on purpose? And she says yes, and she responds by kicking me then in the leg. And finally, I just fucking snap. So I chase her around a bit. It's not my best story. I wish I had acted differently, but I was so done at that point. So I chase her into the bathroom. I start pounding on the door saying, come out and face me, you fucking coward. And finally, I just give up. I go to the other bathroom trying to calm myself down because the only time I've ever acted this way is when I'm about to have a mental breakdown. And so I was trying to calm myself down, so I didn't have a mental breakdown. There's some girls in there, we're all talking, they're trying to also kind of help calm me down. And then finally, my friend, who was also friends with this chick, comes in saying, she's in there calling you a coward. And so I fucking flip out. I run back in, turns out she's right there near the bathroom I'm currently in, chase her back into the other bathroom, and that's when all of the 7th grade girls gather around the girls' bathroom. That's when I'm starting to think I need to really show that I'm tough, you know, when all the girls are gathered around. But instead, she still doesn't come out despite my knocking on it and all that shit. And so I just run out, go to the side of the school, and I unfortunately started harming myself. I'm not going to get into that because it's a triggering topic for some people, but I ended up hurting myself. That's when she tells the custodian that I had harassed her. And of course, in my school, if you were the one to tell on someone else, you were immediately the one that was in the good. You were considered the one that was the victim. Sorry, I had to go calm down my brothers because the littlest one was screaming. So anyways, this chick was considered the victim. And so I was hauled off into the office with the vice principal and the counselor. Now, I fucking hated the counselor because the counselor was shit at her job. I had interacted with her a few times before, especially when I came forward about my depression, and my friend had reported that I had self-harming tendencies. Now, she was fucking shit. I already said that, but like I cannot express how bad she was because here's me, 13 years old, not going through a great time mentally, and her solution is basically to tell me, ignore it or don't think about it. And that was her solution. And she didn't even call my parents the first few times. She ended up calling my parents like the second time. Despite all of this, she just kept telling me to fucking ignore it. So, of course, when I ignored it, I had a big snap. So I go in, they tell me, like, explain what happened. I explain what happened. As I'm explaining, I say one of the things like, God, those girls must have thought I was fucking crazy. Do you know what the fucking vice principal decides to tell me? She says, yeah, I bet they did. Because that's the thing you say to a 13-year-old girl who has been coming to you guys about being bullied for months and has shown signs of self-harm and depression. The thing you want to say is, yeah, I bet they thought you were crazy. Like, who thinks that? Like, at least with the girl, I can assume she's changed because we were just kids. You know, we were stupid fucking kids. But these people were fucking adults. The vice principal, I think, was in her 60s. Her 50s, her late 50s to early 60s. And the counselor was in her 30s to 40s. So it's like, it's blowing my mind that these women who were in that age range, who had been at my age before, thought this was the way to respond. Now, another thing that happened was I had said, yeah, I self-harmed, you know, and finally they bring in the girl who's been bullying me for a while, and she tells them that I picked her up by her hair and punched her in the face. Now, I don't want to be mean, but she was significantly bigger than I was, and there's just no way I could have picked her up by the hair, because I'm not a fucking She-Hulk, and punched her in the face. But they assumed I did, because they came in and they said, well, one of you was lying. I fucking snapped. I said, well, I wanted to fucking kill myself. Because I did at that time. I totally did want to end my own life. And they just respond with, okay, and then walk off and continue to insinuate I'm a liar. So I kept saying, you know, call my parents. I want to go home because this is too much for me. They say no. So strike one, they've done something I don't think totally legal there. I say again, call my parents. I want to go home. Strike two, they say no. They instead continue to question me, continue insinuating that I am a liar and that I've made all of this up, despite again coming to them for multiple months. And finally, they call my dad, just a few minutes before school is getting out. Now, that doesn't strike me as surprising, considering they get different amounts of money depending how long a student is there for the day. Now, looking back, I thought they were just doing it because they wanted to keep questioning me, but now that I think about it, I think it was just because they wanted to get more money, you know. And so finally, my dad comes and picks me up. They don't really even tell him what happened. They just say, hey, you need to come pick Faith up. So I talked to my dad about what happened. My dad said, yeah, you stood your ground. I'm proud of you. You know, that's basically what he said to me. My mom was a little upset that I chased the girl into the bathroom, but even then she was like, yeah, no, that's justifiable. So the school calls my parents again, and they say Faith is not allowed back to school until she gets checked out by her physician and goes through a mental health check. The reason I think they wanted this is because they wanted to, because the mom of my bully was a fucking crazy psycho bitch. She assumed, again, it was all me, that I was a She-Hulk of a girl who picked this girl up and just punched her in the face, not leaving any bruises or marks, apparently, despite apparently having the muscle strength to pick her up by the hair and lift her off the ground. I think they wanted to deal with my parents, who were far less crazy, I'll say. I think they wanted to deal with them, who were far less likely to do anything crazy, as I just said, and were more likely to just go through with it. So my parents did. They took me to my physician. My physician said, I suspect you might have mild depression. Here are some counselors. I went to a counselor. Counselor says, yeah, you definitely have mild depression, even though she couldn't diagnose me technically. She said that. And then I went to a psychiatrist. Psychiatrist diagnosed me, and psychologist did too. So everyone was saying, yes, you totally have a form of mild depression. Excuse the screaming in the background. So anyway, I come back to the school, you know, basically saying, all I have is depression. You know, you cannot kick me out because I have depression. You cannot say that this was my fault just because I have depression. So anyways, it gets to the point that when I come back, they have to switch all of my classes because I had every single class with this chick, and so they were like, yeah, we're just gonna switch your classes around so you don't have to interact with her. That was their big solution. So I switch all my classes, and I don't have to redo any of the work because pretty much all the classes were the same, but I just had to switch the times and stuff I went to the class. I had to switch my homeroom class and all that. So not a huge big deal to me. Another incident happened where I basically I lost all my friends at that point. The people I was hanging out with, even though, you know, my school wasn't big by any means, so I knew everyone, but it was like I hung out with a specific group of people because I felt more comfortable with them and I felt like they liked me more and actually enjoyed spending time with me versus the other people. But so I was hanging out with them and I basically had to stop because this girl was telling them that they had to choose between me or her. And I told my friends, you know, I don't want you guys to choose and I don't want you guys to lose your friends, so go hang out with her. So for a good few weeks there, I was pretty much always sitting by myself, and yeah, it was not a fun time for me, especially with me. I'm already kind of a lonely person because I don't go outside much, but even then it was just a very upsetting and isolating thing to go through. Now finally, the stupid counselor notices this and she sees me sitting alone and I'm writing really stupid, depressed poems. She comes, sits next to me, she says, like, why are you alone? I'm like, well, because she's telling them to choose. She finally talks to them, and as I have to go walk across the street, because our school was separated into two, so there was the first school that was basically like that was like kindergarten to like 3rd grade, and then the next school was 4th through 8th. So I had to walk over to the other school for after school program, which was just, I had to wait there until my parents came to pick me up, and I had to wait there with my 2 younger brothers. So I have to go walk across the street, and I'm walking with my friend who was in 5th grade, her friend who was also in 5th grade, and I think there was a 6th grader who was walking with us, but so there was at least 4 of us who were just walking because we all had to go to that school, because we all had younger siblings who were over there. And so as I'm walking, this girl's mom pulls over and starts like yelling at me. She says, like, I'm gonna go to your parents' workplace and I'm gonna talk to your mom. And I said, okay, because she knew where my parents worked because they had actually come into our business a few times. And I just said, okay. You know, I just kept responding to all her things with okay, because I didn't want to escalate the situation any further because I had my friends around me and she's in a car. I already know this lady is crazy, so I don't want to know what she's gonna do. That's when she makes an illegal U-turn in the middle of the road. And there, I know now that it was illegal. I didn't know then, but there were signs, you know, saying, you can't U-turn here. So she did that. She wasn't supposed to. And she almost hit me and my friends with her car. Her car was really close. It was like a few feet from us before she, you know, zoomed past us. But she was close to hitting us. And that freaked me out because I'm like, holy shit, this is over a few instances, and this is an instance where your daughter has been wrong multiple times. She's also cussing at me and my friends while she's driving, so it's like, are you kidding me? So finally we get over to the school, and when we're at this school, we go to the office because it's the same, you know, it's the same school basically, it's just split into 2 different ones. And so we tell them, we say, you know, like, this is what happened and all that. And so I'm texting my dad about it, and my dad says, yeah, we're gonna have you talk to the lawyer, or our lawyer, to talk about this because she's an adult. We can get a no contact order with her. And I remember that day was also really frustrating because as I'm at after school care, I'm on my phone trying to talk to my dad, and this fucking bitch who volunteered for the after school program, she was just always an unpleasant person. She did not like me because I was friends with 2 other people that she didn't like for some reason. Yeah, they were a little rowdy, but they weren't like bad kids or anything. But so she didn't like me in the first place. So I'm on my phone texting my dad about contacting the attorney. And she comes over, she's like, what are you doing on your phone? You're not supposed to be on your phone, which I always thought was stupid that we couldn't be on our phones. And I'm saying, you know, I'm texting my dad. Well, what are you texting him? Well, it's none of your fucking business in the first place. That's what I should have said, but I said, an incident just happened, and I need to possibly talk to an attorney. That's when she backs off. As soon as I say I have to talk to an attorney, that's when they both backed off because there was 2 volunteers. So I eventually did talk to the attorney, but before another incident happened with the mom. So this is a long story because there's just so many parts to it building up that I think it was insane that any of this was allowed to happen. So the last thing I remember totally happening that like went crazy was my friend who was in 5th grade, a few days later, ended up texting the girl who was bullying me, basically saying, I need you to knock it off, my friend has issues with self-harming, and I don't want to see her do something to hurt herself. My friend was very, very thoughtful when it came to that. You know, she was very concerned about what I would do, and you know, even nowadays, even though we don't talk anymore, it still means a lot that she went out of her way to try and help me when I was not doing the best. But instead of this bitch just ignoring it or telling the school, oh, she's getting people, you know, instead of acting like an adult, the mom calls my friend who is in 5th grade and starts yelling at her, telling her, you're a fucking crazy person. If Faith stared, put me on the phone with her. And I kept telling my friend, give me the phone, let me fucking cuss this bitch out, because this isn't okay. Even if she had assumed my friend was also another 7th grader, this was like across the line. Like, you cannot talk to a minor that you do not know like this because she texted your daughter that your daughter needs to stop being shitty. And she didn't even say it in a mean way. My friend was very, very polite. Finally, my friend is just having such a bad panic attack at this point because she already had pre-existing issues with anxiety. My friend's having such a bad panic attack that she finally gives her mom's number. This bitch of a woman basically tells her, I'm gonna go to the office and get your mom's contact info, which she can't. Legally, she cannot do that. But she told her she would because she didn't know any better. And frankly, neither did I. I thought she was gonna be able to do that, but I didn't know. And my friend's mom didn't respond well. She basically said, fuck off, leave my daughter alone. What is wrong with you? Are you fucking crazy? My friend, because she's having such a bad anxiety attack, we go to the volunteers at the after-school program, and they tell us, you know, we're gonna take her to the office. Now, because it was a meeting day, meaning that, like, every teacher met at the school, even the ones from across the street, they all came to the school and they sat down and they had a meeting talking about the progress with different students. Because that was going on, the fucking counselor comes out and she talks to me and she blames it all on me. She starts telling me, like, you can't talk to your friends about this, you know, this is between me, you, and your parents, you can't do this. And so finally I just fucking snap back and I say, well, if you were doing your job right, I wouldn't have to talk to my friends. She starts fucking tearing up. And the reason I laugh is because I was sick of this bitch at this point. I was so sick of her assuming for all of the teenagers to act older than they were, because the oldest kids that were there were probably 14, you know? So it wasn't like we were all college students. And that's when I found out she actually was a counselor for a college. But for some reason they hired her to counsel fucking, like, little kids and early teenagers, as if she had experience in that. So she always assumed that we would act older than we do. Finally, I got in contact with the lawyer. As soon as the lawyer basically sends a formal letter to the mom saying, fuck off, don't contact this young lady, and then my friend's mom did that too. But, like, from all this, she was scared off and she would not talk to us again. And that was my favorite part, is the girl didn't talk to us and her bitch crazy psycho mom did not talk to us. So that was my story time. Finally, the counselor did get fired the next year. So, which is, it sucks, because there's one person I know who came in that year, and I can't, like, express how bad this chick was. And, like, there were some people who came in 8th grade who didn't know anything about this lady, and I'm like, you guys are so lucky that she's not here anymore, because, like, if she saw the shit you guys were doing, you'd get the same shit I got, you know? So, yeah, that was all just a mess. It was a really horrible situation. It's when I first got diagnosed with depression, and, I started seeking some therapy, not a lot, you know, like, my parents didn't really have time or money to get me into a proper therapist. They did have that time to just get me mentally checked out, because I had to go to school. If I didn't go to school, you know, I was gonna get bad grades. So, yeah, like I said, that situation was really bad. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up because that would make my day. If you have any shitty school stories you have, or want me to do any more stories like this, leave those answers down in the comments down below. And if you like content like this, or my true crimes or reviews, go ahead and subscribe because that would be fucking awesome. And as always, let's keep trying to make the world just a little less shittier. Peace out.